speed at 5 a.m. in the morning, and that it hit a tree, and the tree cut it in half, sending the pieces everywhere. You can see these pictures that you're looking at right now. Do you notice any fire? Do you notice the engine being ejected 100 feet down the road at a right angle to the impact? See, that's what clued us in from the very beginning that that story was a false story about Michael Hastings' car bomb fire. And that's precisely what I believe it was. I believe it was a combination, perhaps, of a hijacking, making the car go at a high speed. But if that car were to have hit that tree, if that was the cause of the explosion, it would have captured the engine, not ejected it at a right angle. And we can see the pictures of Michael Hastings' car. And understand, both of these are Mercedes. There's a C250 and a C350. It's exactly the same C-body sedan from Mercedes, the difference being the size of the engine. One is a turbo 4-cylinder, the other one is a 6-cylinder engine. So the engine size is the only thing that's different about that. But if you look at the Michael Hastings pictures, you can see that the front end of the car is only slightly impacted in the supposed collision with the tree. The rear end of the car, where the fuel tank is, where you would expect to see it completely compromised and crushed if there was an immediate explosion due to fuel, that is essentially intact. The area where the driver was, where Michael Hastings was, that is melted, that is destroyed, and that's in between those two extremes. So it doesn't look like that's precisely what happened. But we were told at the time we were just conspiracy theorists. We were told at the time nobody could hack it, and we were told that the government would never assassinate somebody that was going to expose them. Stay with us. We're going to be right back.
Show your disapproval for Hillary Clinton. Get your Hillary for Prison 2016 t-shirt today at the INFOWARS store. Hurry up, because these things are selling out faster than Hillary Clinton.
This is an American president. Just add puppet, then vote and repeat every 4 years.
Introducing Secret 12, the new INFOWARS Life vitamin B12 formulation. Now, INFOWARSLife.com is excited to announce that we can bring you our most bioactive, powerful form of B12 that has been developed with our exclusive perfected process. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme forms of B12. Secure your revolutionary Secret 12 formula right now at INFOWARSLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
I'm running for president. Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion. I'm hitting the road to earn your vote, and I hope you'll join me on this journey.
Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at INFOWARSLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our immune support infusion blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.
There's always a question as to whether or not we're winning or losing. And of course, we're winning with some people. Other people still haven't woken up. But it looks like there have been a couple of major changes for both DuPont and Monsanto, the people who've been selling us for decades on the idea of better living through chemistry, except their chemistry tends to be kind of deadly. We have an article on InfoWars.com. DuPont is found liable in a Teflon toxin trial. They say strategically we never dreamed we'd win this case. The jury has found DuPont liable for negligence and awarded a lady $1.6 million. They say that she developed kidney cancer after drinking water contaminated with a chemical that was formerly used to make Teflon. Now, you have to understand that, and of course there's a lot of these lawsuits, they say, that are down in the pipeline. Understand many people are very concerned about the health effects of Teflon coating itself. It's used with created with very toxic chemicals, and even though it's very easy to clean up, the issue is that you can very easily scratch it off if you use metal utensils. We all know that. What happens to that Teflon if you scrape it off into your food and ingest it? Does it give you perhaps the kinds of results that this jury has found in this particular case, kidney cancer or other issues? And that's the thing that we're so concerned about. It's one of the reasons people are concerned about genetic modification of food and things like Roundup that has found its way not only onto our food, but thanks to Monsanto into our food in some cases, systemically putting these pesticides into the foods with genetic modification, as well as glyphosate finding its way into the water supply. If you're not on a city water supply where they add fluoride to your water and there's no control over the amounts of fluoride that you're going to get, understand, even if you think fluoride is safe and effective, you can't measure how much someone is going to get by dumping it in the water supply. And you're also, even if it was uniform, you're going to be giving the same amount of fluoride to an infant that you give to a full-grown male. It's absolutely insane. But of course, we have glyphosate in the water supply if you're not on a city water supply. If you've got a well, you're probably out somewhere where there's a rural environment, and the glyphosate that the farmers are using on their crops is finding its way into the water supply there. The good news is that many people are getting the message about the potential hazards of genetic modification. Monsanto is now cutting 2,600 jobs as GMO seed sales are falling in America and Europe and elsewhere. This is an article by Anthony Gucciardi on InfoWars.com. He says it's not looking too good for everyone's favorite GMO seed giant. With sales figures crashing down, Monsanto has announced a plan to cut 2,600 jobs. That's about 11.6% of their workforce. He says it isn't the first time Monsanto has experienced a serious slump in sales, and we've seen a serious decline in sales for both Monsanto and McDonald's as people are concerned about the way and the content of their food. And he says, better yet, maybe Monsanto's deep ties with the U.S. government shouldn't have threatened trade wars with other nations that would dare to oppose their GMOs. It's all in the Guardian report about the 2007 WikiLeaks revelations surrounding Monsanto. But understand that it isn't just trade wars that they've threatened in the past. This is going to be integrated into these trade agreements, transatlantic, trans-Pacific agreements. We've seen GMOs and we've seen glyphosates banned in several countries. We've seen many countries requiring labeling for GMOs. So what they're going to do is they're going to move it to the national and to the international level. We saw that in America with the DARK Act. They called it the Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act, where they hide dangerous ingredients by telling you you can't say whether they're in the food or not. That's the amazing way that they're doing this. And of course, that's unconstitutional to dictate that to the states. So they're going to come up with an unconstitutional treaty. And to give you an example of how pervasive this is, not only is it Monsanto has 400 million acres under cultivation of GMO seeds. That is 4 times the size of the state of California. So it's good news when we see that their stock is going down by 25% because of slumping sales. It's good when we see that they are pulling back. But then there's other areas that the public still hasn't woken up to. Even as we see many of the harmful effects, as is being pointed out by the World Health Organization that is concerned about glyphosates and other issues, even as that is entering the public consciousness, people are still accepting genetic modification in the hopes that is going to bring them some kind of a miraculous health cure or eternal life. Look at this article. Deleting genes could boost lifespan by 60%, say scientists. You know, because you've got all that junk DNA. We've heard that phrase before. One of the things that was pretty ridiculous, junk DNA. But now they're saying that they have identified 238 genes that, when silenced, increase the lifespan of yeast cells. And they say that since many of these genes are present in mammals, like humans, they think that maybe if they switch these off, we might live a lot longer. Are you ready to take that chance? Are you ready to take that gamble? Do you really trust these people? Don't we need to take a slower approach to this? Don't we need to have informed consent? I mean, that's essentially what we're looking at. Whether you agree with genetic modification of corn or whether you agree with putting pesticides, harmful pesticides on your food or inside of your food with genetic modification, still, people need to be informed as to what's in their food. They need to be able to look at the studies, make the determination themselves. And that's precisely what we want people to do. We want people to look at this and be very, very, very skeptical about scientists who say that they're going to increase your lifespan by 60% by arbitrarily switching genes on and off. One of the things they mentioned in this article is that calorie restriction has been known to extend lifespan for a long time. Those are the types of things that we can do. But when we go in and we start altering things that clearly we don't understand, it wasn't that long ago that they said most of the DNA was junk DNA. They've now moved back off of that position. But when we start to do that and start to mess with things that we don't fully understand, that's when we're getting into really dangerous territory. That's when we need to have the option to opt out of medical treatments or to know what's in our food and opt out of that at the grocery store. Now, yesterday, Alex Jones interviewed on the radio show Leo Zagami. He claims that an insider has told him that Pope Francis will resign after his visit to Argentina next year in 2016 because he says he has fulfilled his role to help establish the global New World Order. Here's that report.
This really shows that they want to call questioning authority a conspiracy theory. That doesn't work anymore. So how is it going for Pope Francis? Is it going well? Is it going bad? What's the next big shoe to drop?
I'm giving you a world scoop. You are about to hear a world scoop. The Pope will resign next year after his visit to Argentina.
Okay, that's big because 2 years before the scandal started 5 years ago, you said a Jesuit Pope would take over and mentioned 2 men, one of them this Pope, and said they'd use the pedophile scandal to take over. That then came out in mainstream news. So you've been proven right many times. You're saying world scoop. Are you predicting this from the tea leaves or do you have inside sources?
No. This is inside sources, 2 different inside sources. One from the Secretary of State of the Vatican, the other one from the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre, saying that the Pope will use the visit to his home place, Argentina, to make a announcement, in a way preparing the way for his coming back to Argentina, because apparently he doesn't want to reside after in Castel Gandolf or in the Vatican. He wants to simply retire in Argentina. I was said that during his visit that he will do next year in South America, which will include, I think, Chile, Argentina, and Peru, he will basically, this will happen